Actually, we have the day 6, session 12 session now. Today's resource person is Krishnakumar Mahalingam from Microsoft, Principal Software Engineer Manager from Bangalore. And we have the session on cloud security solutions. And we have already studied that security solutions in the previous sessions. And this session, we are going to see some industry insights also. So now, welcome Krishna Kumar. I call Nivedika ma'am to address the resource person.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Let me take a moment to introduce an exceptional individual whose expertise and contributions have made a significant impact in the field. I take pleasure in introducing Mr. Krishna Kumar, fondly called as KK. KK heads the Commerce and AI Engineering unit of Microsoft as Principal Engineering Manager. Prior to this, KK was heading Finance Technologies of JP Morgan as Executive Director. He is also a technology leader leading a global organization specializing on cloud adoption, digital transformation, enterprise application, product development, integration, and analytics development. He has 22 plus years of experience, which is for more than 2.5 decades, in implementing large scale enterprise application programs on diverse technology platforms like SAP, AWS, Salesforce, Oracle, etc. And he has 15 plus years of experience in engineering leadership, leading customers focused IT teams, mentoring, motivating, and growing a global delivery team of senior managers, architects, and subject experts in Agile and Screens too. He has led the digital transformation journeys of many customer projects and has contributed to the success stories of building innovative customer solutions in the areas of big data, SAP, HANA, cloud hybrids, blockchain, IoT, and S4HANA. He takes pride in his contributions to some of the most complex architectures and landscapes of enterprise giants like Daimler, Sony, Tata Telecom, Ultratech, Samsung, and Cargill. He has done BCSC at Madurai Kamaraj University in the year 1999 and MS Software Systems at BITS Pilani in the year 2006. In the year 2019, KK was awarded CIO 100 Top Disruptive Leader of the Year by IDG, an active member in the COA forums and also a vivid reader. He is currently pursuing his doctoral degree at IIM Ranchi in Customer Experience and Innovation Management. With great anticipation, I now yield the floor to Mr. Krishna Kumar, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Am
sir.
I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just trying to set my Wi-Fi. Give me a second. Okay, this should be better. Fine. Now, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. This is the
Sir,
audience, or it's a totally different audience. So, if it is a repeat, Dr. Amada Madam actually told that give a small repetition but try to cover some industry examples and so on. So there are 228 people in this call. So I am really not how many of you attended my session on threat modeling and security 2 days back. If majority of the people would agree, then I can share some industry examples. So quickly, I would like to ask you to raise your hand if you have already attended 2 days back session. So there is a button to raise your hand. So if you raise your hand, I will assume that you have already attended 2 days back. Then we will talk something new. So request all the participants to either raise their hand if they have already attended. So just to bring you a recollection, this is what we discussed 2 days back about threat modeling. So if you remember this, then raise your hand. What you see on the screen, we did it 2 days back. If you remember this, just raise your hand. You see about 20 people raising your hand, which means, do I assume that 200 people have not attended 2 days back? Because this is very important. Otherwise, I will be repeating the same and it should not get boring. So if 200 people have not attended, we will do the security threat modeling. Otherwise, we will move to the industry examples, whichever suits best. That's why I'm asking this question. Okay, looks like not many people attended 2 days back. Only 22 people have attended this. So let me go with this again and then switch to the industry examples as a second part of the discussion. Okay, we are going to talk about cloud security. We will talk about threat modeling, and some of it might be a repetition. Feel free to have a coffee during that time, and then we will switch to the industry examples. So today we are in a stage that we are having a lot of artificial intelligence in every topic that we deal with. What do we want to do with AI? Nobody knows, but everybody says let's do something about AI. So look at the joke that let's turn on the artificial intelligence and see if anything else has changed. Similarly, another joke that is very popular is all the students are writing their the assignment papers and journals, publication, everything using AI, and all the professors are also using AI to evaluate these papers. So now who's evaluating what, we do not know, because the students are also using AI, the professors are also using AI. So this is the world of confusion we have with AI. Now, if people don't trust AI, for example, many people are asking, how can AI replace individuals? How will our jobs be and all that? Now, if today we have autonomous cars, if we are going to sit in a car and say there is no driver and the car is going to drive you without a driver, if that is the level of trust you have on a mission, if you would allow that much amount of trust, then other jobs are nothing. A car is going to go on a road, you are risking your life, you are risking the safety of your life, and then you are able to trust that it will do the job perfectly, then any other job is so easy. Similarly, computers, many people say it is very stupid, how can they rule the world? But actually they have already started doing that. One example is there is a lot of promotion in cities like Bangalore, Chennai, and so on, with the food companies like Swiggy, Zomato, and so on. They do a lot of uh, advertisements and promotions and offers, making the half of the city eat the same thing. For example, they have a Khichdi festival or Upma festival or a Dosa festival, and half of Bangalore and half of Chennai buy the same Khichdi and the same Dosa, and they make the entire city even eat the same thing. So that much they are able to control the lives of people. We are having a lot of application with these. Some of the application doing prediction analytics, some of them converting text to speech, speak to text, then planning, scheduling, optimizing, robotics, vision, image recognition. All of this comes under a broad umbrella of artificial intelligence. Now, people use these three terminologies very mixed. What is artificial intelligence, what is machine learning, and what is deep learning should be clearly understood with a difference. If you are having a set of rules and you want those rules and conditions to be used by the computers, then you are talking about something like playing a chess game or some other kind of a game. Then it is based on those rules, it is artificial intelligence. The moment you put data into it and say, I'm going to give a set of data, I'm going to give you a model, based on the model, based on the data, you decide the actions and then behave in an intelligent way, then it is purely dependent on the data. So the more data you give, the more training the model takes. This is machine learning. So here it's not only about the rules, but the quality of the data and the quantity of the data matters a lot. On the other hand, if you're going to talk about deep learning, here you are not only talking about data, here you are not only talking about the models, you are not only talking about rules. There are a lot of parameters from voice to environmental factors to inputs and commands and so many things. So here we are talking about something like a self-driving car or an Alexa which you use for voice-based queries. We are talking about different AI applications and deep learning applications in mobiles. So here we are talking about one level bigger. So you need to understand that this is wrapped with so much of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So if we will look at such an AI application, we will be definitely having these kind of an architecture where you have the end users, the business users, the voice, text, speech as the interaction APIs. Then there is data preparation, model preparation, and of course a lot of cloud infrastructure. So one single application has now become multiple layered application. So if you will take a typical AI architecture, you have a lot of structured and unstructured database, MongoDB or classic SQL DB and so on. You have a lot of APIs, you have a lot of connections to social media, and then you definitely use a number of cloud-based applications which work on keywords, accounts, etc. Then all of this from a bottom-up perspective, there are lots of terminologies here. Now, the moment we expanded it to such a big extent, we have a lot of threats at all the layers, whether it is the cloud, whether it is the database, whether it is the network, whether it is the API, at all layers, we have threats of security. So in this session, we are going to talk about threat modeling. And before that, if you would like to learn more about security, suppose you are doing a PhD on security topics, I would like you to go to Google and type AWS architected framework. If you will use this framework, this is not only for security, this is one of the best sites for all your technical knowledge building. So when you go here, you will find that there is operational excellence, security, reliability, performance, cost, sustainability. So if you expand security, here itself you will find a lot of information about security. It will also have definitions, it will have architecture diagrams, all the latest things about security is already here as per the topics. For example, identity and access management, infrastructure protection, data protection. So in this data protection, if you would like to have a white paper, you can download this PDF. And here if you see, for each of this there is a pillar. How do you classify data? How do you protect your data? So you can drill deep into each of this. So like this, they have created general design principles for a number of topics. At least this is my quick reference always, because it helps us to learn a lot of things. So you can also make use of this. Now here it will lead to other links also. For example, see here, logging and monitoring, how to do that. So you can use this particular site for a good amount of design aspects. On the other hand, you can also use it for performance, cost optimization. How do you make a high performant applications? What are the design principles for that? It is clearly mentioned here. So this is a very, very good site that you can definitely use. And I have used this multiple times. So this is called well architected. So this is the keyword which you need to remember. AWS well architected framework. This is something very popular in the industry. Now let's go back to security topic. So here for threat intelligence, the main purpose of these seminars and FDP program is you can't learn coding and scripting and all of this in one place. These sessions will give you some pointers. With those pointers, you can go further, read about it. You can take the links and then use them for further learning. And then from there, you can learn the further things. So at this point, I'm going to give you a high level about what is threat modeling. Strategic, tactical, technical, operational. These are the four types of threat modeling, threat intelligence. So on a simple note, what does it mean? Today, if you have a cloud application with multiple instances, now let's say I will have 50 instances of the application for Europe, US, Asia, India, and so on. Now suddenly if the number of users are very high in US, suddenly the number of concurrent users are very high. Do I allocate more resources or do I stop and break the system? So I need to take a decision. Allocating more resources means I need to put in a lot of money. But on the other hand, if it is an attack, I need to prevent it and I should not allocate more resources. So there are these kind of operational monitoring that we do. And once such thing happens, the organizations first detect them, see whether it is an attack, and then if it is an attack, they mitigate it and they document it. So next time such a thing happens, they see a pattern of how it happens. Why is this very important? Because just like Army, Navy, Air Force, now Russia has a complete IT army, which means in case of a war with Ukraine or let's say some other war, what they first do is using this IT army, they try to attack all the cloud. By attacking all the cloud, they attack all the banks. And the moment banking systems are down, all ATMs crash. So no people will be able to withdraw money and the whole country will come to a standstill. So this is the warfare that they used in Ukraine war also. So when such things happen, we should be able to prevent such attacks. So organizations are building intelligence to identify patterns, to see potential risk and see how they can detect the security risk. And then for that, they first look at what are their assets. Assets means multiple things. For example, if you steal the data of a pharmaceutical company, their formula and drugs and all of that, then it is their main source of business of innovation. So that is their asset. If you steal the username, password, etc., then you are talking about monetary problems for people. So in India right now, that is the biggest threat. India has lost about 73,000 crores in the last 1 year for scam attacks. People have lost their money. It's not from the government, but it's all people's money up to an extent of 73,000 crores. So here the attack is on the finance. Similarly, assets could also be something like resources. Suddenly I consume all the memory, I consume all the computing resources of your infrastructure. Then which means I am not able to process further. Then the infrastructure is compromised. So the asset is IT infrastructure also. For example, asset could also be the harm to the safety of the people and so on. So like this, for different assets, we need to identify a different architecture, break down the application into multiple parts, see what are the threats that are there, classify them and rate those security threats. So these four types of security threat intelligence we should build: strategic, tactical, technical, and operational. You can read it. I'll share the slides. So today, for example, Meesho, Mintra, all these companies had attack on their business process. So we all know that you order something online, you pay it, it gets delivered, and after some time you don't like it, you can return it. But somebody understood the business process, created so many orders about cash on delivery and return and all of that, by which they suffered close to about $10 million where their business process was affected. For example, a lot of celebrities are now getting a problem because their photos, videos are all AI generated and they have not even spoken in such videos. They are all generated by AI. So that is another kind of threat that we see. Big companies lose their documents, their white papers, their data, their network access, and so on. So all the companies are using either Copilot or Chat GPT. So for employees, if today if I want to know, okay, what is my October salary slip? Can you give me? If I ask the Chat GPT or Copilot, it will immediately show me all the details. I don't need to query any site or anything. I just go to my office Chat GPT or Copilot, I'll get the details. Suppose I say I would like to get the latest design document of a project, I will immediately get it. Now suppose instead of the employee, some intruder or some kind of a hacker is getting the network access of a company and he or she uses the AI model, the chat GPT or the co-pilot to retrieve all the information. So one breach on the network access can actually give access to so many other things via AI models. So the problem gets bigger and bigger and bigger because of all these threats. So in threat intelligence, there are multiple projects which you can give for students. So just identifying the threats, the vulnerabilities, finding what are the vulnerability attacks, that itself is a project. Identifying the risks that are happening. For example, 100 people say my bank account is compromised, my amount is withdrawn. Identifying how this happened and preventing further attacks on other bank accounts, that is risk mitigation. Similarly, you collect data, you process, you do fraud management, you definitely do an incident response, you classify similar messages, you provide queries for already existing threats, you keep the technical resources intact. All of this is the threat life cycle threat intelligence life cycle. So here I am going to talk about three or four different techniques. STRIDE. STRIDE stands for STRIDE. Spoofing, tampering, repudiation, information disclosure, denial of service, and elevation of privilege. These five different threats are explained here. You can have a look. There is a paper also which I have attached. Spoofing means just like an employee, an attacker is withdrawing information. Just like a bank account holder, somebody else is using your bank account and withdrawing money. Tampering is going and changing the data. For example, if you are able to hack a network and going the computer results and changing the data on the memory, that is called tampering. Then like that, for example, if you are requesting some information and the information is not available to you, denial of service, you have ultimately wrong authorizations to allow access to somebody. So these are all different types of threats which are there. So this is very important. So you can do projects on spoofing, you can do a project on denial of service, you can do a project on elevation of privilege. For example, a manager can have more privilege to access some confidential data than the employee. But if the employee is able to hack the manager access and he is able to have higher elevation of privilege, then he will know all the management information. So this is elevation of privilege. So the first methodology that we are going to look at is TRIDE. The second one is called, is this more of a process? A process happened. This is called PASTA. Here you are talking about process of the attack and the threat analysis. So you see what kind of intelligence is required. Here we do something called TTP, tools, techniques and procedures. So what are the tools required for each of these process? How do you integrate this with the organization security strategy? And how do you communicate it to the people in the organization? So this is also another method which is there. Now you might say, okay, this is all theory. Where are the tools? The tools are coming in the next few slides. Dread is another methodology. Here you try to reproduce the error. You take what has happened, you try to reproduce the error, you find who are all the affected users, and then see can you reproduce the error and then solve it. So this is the most, if you will talk about any software company, this is the most used method. We always try to reproduce the error. If we are not able to reproduce it, we classify them as non-reproducible errors. So these are three popular methods, models that we have seen. We'll also look at two more, which is called trike and vast. In trike, you are basically looking at database operation, create, read, update, delete. So this is an interview question. What is meant by CRUD method? CRUD means create, read, update, delete. For example, if I am creating a shopping cart in Amazon, then I am creating a new order. Or if I am going and saying I want to know when is my order being delivered, then it is reading existing data. No, I want to change the quantity. Then I am doing an updation or I am cancelling or deleting the order. Now a threat attack could be like you ordered 5 shirts and suppose somebody goes and tampers your account and makes that 5 shirts as 5,000 shirts. Then there is a big process level problem. So the security threat that is happening on the CRUD methods is being evaluated, and what happens for the data flow, that is called the trike in trike methodology. The other one is you automate all of these process, which is the vast method, where you see where are all the visual places where you can see, and you try to create a simple threat modeling using the automation process, integrated throughout your development life cycle, communicate with all the people in the projects, and then you prevent any security attacks. So totally 3 plus 2, 5 methods: stride, dread, pasta, trike and vast. You can share this with your students and say, pick up one of this. For example, in dread method, do a project about how you can find affected users when there is a large attack on the cloud. Or you can say, how do you automate some of the threat models that happen there during the automation? You can check that. So there are multiple topics amongst this you can pick up for your final year project students. So as I said, this is the list of the tools. The link is provided here. The most common tool that is available is TMT, the threat modeling tool. Also, Tutamen is another tool which is also very famous. All of this, what it tries to do is, it helps you identify which are all the components of your architecture and how do you detect anomalies and how do you mitigate the risk. These are the threat modeling tools. Each of this has a number of YouTube videos. So you can feel free to pick up whichever tool that suits the best. These are the top tools in the world. These 6 are the most used tools. So if somebody wants to do a project, they have to pick up one of this tool, first understand a course on that tool and get hands-on working knowledge through a trial version. And using that tool, you should pick up one of this and try to do a threat modeling. That is how you can do a project out of threat modeling. Okay, I have the tool, I know what is to be done, but can you explain me step by step? I have given this link here. This link will help you to do a step by step threat modeling. So here, what is to be done for the each step, how to create an architecture diagram, how to list down the threats, which model we should pick up, in stride what should we do. All of this is explained in a step by step fashion with the diagrams and all of that. You can use this tool for your project. So this is a threat modeling tool that I have attached with the step by step process. All of this is happening on a microservice architecture. The cloud application is on a microservice architecture. We are accessing this application via mobile, PC or any web. Now, if the number of users go very high, there is a load balancer in between. There is a CDN for getting your images and static content. This hits the API, and from the API you go into an application which is modeled as multiple services. This architecture is what is the new architecture. If somebody says UI backend database, the old style architecture, we have gotten away with that old style three-layered architecture. So students should be aware of this kind of a microservices architecture in their project. If they are drawing an architecture diagram which is not microservices, please reject it, because 90% of our applications follow this in the industry. Simple example, how do you make a microservice application? Let's say your AC is gone bad in your house. You call your Samsung AC provider and say, I send a service engineer. Now Samsung has to create a service order for the service engineer. So he has to come to your house. So in the service order, what is the problem? Where is the problem? Is it in warranty? All that is written. And ultimately there is a field called GPS location. Your house location is given in that field. So let's say there is an API to get the GPS information from maps and store it in that field. That API fails. Now, if you say now the service order cannot be created and throw an error, this is wrong. Service order should be always creatable. GPS information is only an additional information. The dependency should not stop the service order. So when one service is not working, application should not fail. So this is called resilience engineering. In security, what we do is we put down the system. We put the first instance, second instance, we put all the instances down and see how the system behaves for failures. On the other hand, if you do it on a very large scale across the organization, across geography, then that is called chaos engineering. So chaos engineering and resilience engineering are two big topics which you can explore further. Now, if you are doing a traditional application, A will send data to B, B to C, C to D and so on. But in this architecture, you are supposed to test A, B, C, D together talking to each other on a large scale. So we are in a world of drone, cloud, devices. Then we are having multiple kinds of devices, hundreds and thousands of users. Geographically distributed, then machines are talking to each other. In this stage, because of the security, we need to know at what all places the attack happens. If you take any application, if you are using Amazon, Walmart, Flipkart, anything, this is the architecture they are following. So there is a browser, there is a traffic manager, then there is a gateway, then there is a firewall, then there is a load balancer, then there is an internal load balancer. Then there is a application subnet and a database subnet. And then finally your microservices application. So this whole thing could go down. So for that reason, they take a copy of this and put it into a different region. This is US West, this is US East. So let's say this whole thing on the top fails, the bottom one picks over. Like this, they have created mirror images all over the world. So the attacks happen on browser, attacks happen on the firewall, attacks happen on the network, attacks happen on the application level, attacks happen on the database. So each of this could have attacks. It is not that one area gets attacked. So each of this is a separate project. This is the same diagram using AWS architecture. Instead of your database, here you will find your S3 bucket, which is the storage. Instead of the computing services, you have your EKS clusters having the computing this thing. Your integration is also done by AWS services, and then you have cloud monitoring tools like CloudWatch and so on. Again, the concept is the same in both the architectures. So in order to do a very good job, you just increase the performance 10x. For example, if I say I'm creating an order for my shopping cart in Amazon, if you are going to test that order with 10 users logging in concurrently, let's say there is a Diwali sale, or let's say there is a Black Friday sale in US, 1 million people will log into that account at the same time, to the portal at the same time. So stress testing, load testing, spike testing, soak testing, this should be done. Now, when there is an attack also, all this goes up. So you should be able to know which is the real performance and which is an attack. If it is an attack, you should prevent it. If it is a real performance threshold, you have to increase your resources. Similarly, if you are doing a testing for a microservices application, earlier there was a tester role. Now it is not possible to do it alone. The tester, the developer, the infrastructure team, everybody has to come together. They have to shut down some of the testing service, some of the microservices, and see how the application, for example, if you will shut down your CDNs, what happens? If you will shut down some of your data centers, what happens? So when you bring some of the microservice down, it is like this picture, Hollywood picture on the side, where you bomb the entire city and then you come out in the car successfully, escaping all of it. This is the kind of behavior we are expecting in the developers today. They should be able to manage disaster recovery very well. So these are some of the pointers which you can pick up and do some courses and understand how it is done. I'm not going to go one by one. Pick up anything that interests you and look at it. These are all the security threats for an application. So for example, cross-site scripting means when you go into a website, it is asking, do you want to accept my cookies? Now you are blindly saying accept my all cookies, but what is the script running on the background of that website? You don't know. So when you have a website and there is a script that is running in the background, the script can easily read your screen. The script can also install something on your device. All these are risks. So how do you make an application which is not vulnerable? That is what is the list. You can look at all of this with separate Googling. There are independent videos for it. At the end of it, what we are trying to see is vulnerability check, penetration testing, and also threat analysis. This is what we are currently doing. So a change in mindset is very much required. We need to have different kinds of tools. So some of the popular tools which are there is given here. So these are all very, very popular tools in the market. Lambda test, Load Ninja, Test Link, PractiTest, Test Complete. All of these are hyperlinks. You can pick up one of the tool and try it. So instead of asking the students do a simple Python application again and again and again, try to tell them that pick up one of this tool, understand a course through YouTube, and do a project using Lambda test or Load Ninja or TestLink. This gave a different kind of project. So try to encourage them to do these kind of tools. So we are going from a cloud maybe to cloud first to cloud only environment. This is the future that we are going through. So we need to be very, very cautious about the security aspects of the future. Now, I will not close the session. I will quickly ask you to unmute if there are any questions. If not, I will take another 15 minutes and show you the other topic, which is some examples from the industry. So that examples from the industry will give some insights for your project. But I would like to ask you, is there any questions at this point of time? Hello? Have you all kept the laptop open and gone somewhere else? Any thoughts, comments, feedbacks, questions? Anything you would like to know? Organizers, can you help me with a quick?
How to collect data sets in cyber security?
How to collect data sets? Collect or connect?
Collect data sets in cyber security. How can we get the data sets?
You will definitely have a lot of you can write to me. I can give you some examples. One common place we have a lot of data sets is Kaggle. Kaggle gives a lot of data sets. Have you tried that? This site has a lot of data sets, thousands of data sets they have. See here. You can use any of this. So this is all a data set. It's not a PPT or anything. It is having columns and it is having data inside it.
They are asking, is it any other government sites are there? Other than Kaggle, do you know any?
See, you have to request it. For example, at least I know in Bangalore, I'm not sure about Chennai. If you will talk to the police department, especially cyber intelligence, and you say we want for research purpose some of the data that has been there, they will share it because they want a lot of research to happen. So that should be some kind of an initiative from the college to reach out to cyber cells. But some of them from an international level is mentioned here. For example, see here, this credit card fraud data set is a major one. See here, it comprises over 550,000 records. Okay, this itself is very good. Any other
Next
questions?
question. Tell about any unforgettable regarding cyber security.
Tell about an unforgettable experience. Okay, this is a little old, but today this cannot happen, but it happened about 15 years old when I was a developer. Okay. So we were using a programming language called ABAP. In that ABAP, if there is a local internal table, that is a buffer table, and there is a database table. There is a statement called for all entries in the local table, do this on the database table. So for example, for all entries in employee table, calculate salary in the database table. This is what we should do. The behavior of the code was if the local table was empty or null, it will do the operation on the entire database. It should ideally not be doing anything on the database, but it will always do. Suppose if I have 10 records and in the database I have 10,000 records, it will do that operation only for the 10 records. On the other hand, if the local table, buffer table has 0 records, it will perform that operation for all the 10,000 records. So one developer coded something on a Friday in a banking application for all entries in the banking postings. Do this on the database table. The moment he did this and moved the code to production, and then by Saturday afternoon, all the major ATMs in Europe, that bank ATM, all of them were closed because people started getting money left, right, center. Some of them had debits, some of them had credits. So in order to stop the whole accounting mistakes, that bank stopped all the ATMs and called our company CEO and said there is some major problem. All the bank is shut down. Monday morning, before Monday morning, we want to fix this. Within a matter of 1 hour, all the people in the team were called to office on Saturday, Sunday. And we found that this particular code is the one that created this havoc. But the bigger problem was we wanted to know if there are 1 million accounts in that bank, which are all the further accounts affected, which are all the accounts which are having the posting, which so some people, the moment they got additional money, they quickly withdrew the money from the bank's ATM. Some people transferred the money. Some people did not do anything. So from that point till for the next few hours, what all happened in that was tracing back was very, very, very difficult. Then we had to write manual programs to correct all the accounting entries. And wherever we couldn't correct because the customer has already taken away the money, we gave the bank a list saying that these are the customers you want to contact via police or somebody to give back the money to the bank or something like that. Like this whole operation happened for day and night for 3 days. It was a small mistake by an India developer. Suppose there was a security coding scan tool. If it scanned the code and said for all entries, if you are using the statement, please put a if condition, if the local table is empty or not. If that is prompted by the code scanning tool, this would have got avoided. But that time, the security, this code scanning, vulnerability check, all these tools were not there. And this blew like a big time bomb with that bank. And I can never forget this. This was a big, big issue on a weekend, and all the ATMs were down. This is an example I can share. Some more examples are there in this PPT. Let's see if there is any interest for this. So let me share my screen again.
One more question, Krishna. What are the elements of cyber security? And then one research question. Can you see the chat box?
Chat is loading.
One question is in the chat box.
I'm not able to see the chat. Chat is still loading.
I am going to search particular data set for research work. It is not match for my work. Any other source to search, sir? Janagi ma'am, please switch on your mic and you talk, ma'am.
Yeah, please go ahead, ma'am.
Sir, if I'm going to search a particular data set for my research work, uh, 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 at the time it is not matched for my work. Is any other source to search for my research work, sir?
If you are talking about a PhD resource, PhD research, at least the PhD I am doing with IIM, they are very, very clear that for your research topic, you should get the exact data set. If not, if your secondary data is not okay, then you have to create primary data, which means you have to run a survey. And with that survey, you should be able to collect the data. For example, if my professor, my guide says, okay, I am having this problem statement. Now, this is the data set that I got from internet or somewhere. They will really scrutinize that. Who has published this data set? What authenticity does it have? What is the guarantee that this data is correct or not? So 99% of whatever I know in esteemed organizations is they ask you to collect the data for quantitative purposes. So that is what I have been doing. For example, I recently ran one survey and collected the data. My research topic is innovation management and I collected the data. That's the way you can do it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
I hope you know the difference between primary data and secondary data, right?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes. Okay, sir.
Can you suggest some more? Krishna, give your mail ID. Can I give your mail ID to the participants?
Please give my personal mail ID, not the official mail ID.
Okay. Tell me that mail ID.
I'll send you by WhatsApp.
Okay.
But I am no big expert. I am also a PhD student, so I am no big expert. So, okay. Would you want me to cover this other examples topic or skip that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do this quickly. Is my screen visible? Hello?
Not share.
No,
Not
sir.
sharing. Share your screen.
Now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So this presentation has only some information for students, and I presented this in one of the college. Suppose machine learning is very broad. There are so many machine learning algorithms, etc., etc. At least basic level, these 10 algorithms should be easy to understand. People should know it. Random forest, decision tree, linear regression, k-means. So these are all very, very common ones students should attempt to learn. Then if you are talking about some interview questions, some very basic level interview questions on statistics, on data science and machine learning. Okay. Some basic 10 algorithms for beginners. I have given some links also here. Okay. I'll share this deck. Amada, you can share this PPT. You already have it, so you can share it with the participants.
Sure.
Now, some
I'll do.
examples from industry. So, can anybody tell which is this company? Have you seen this company anywhere? Yeah, which tractor company is this? No, no, it is not Indian. John Deere. John Deere is one of the international agricultural equipment company. John Deere manufactures these kind of complicated agricultural equipment. Other than simple tractors, they make these for everything they have in agriculture, some equipment. These equipments are shipped all around the world. So let's say in Japan or in US or Canada, the temperature is minus 20 degrees. There also this equipment has to work. Suppose John Deere tractors are sent somewhere near Chennai, then summer 48 degrees centigrade also it should work. So this tractor needs components and parts which are going to worn out very, very fast, because if you manufacture it for cold countries, then the other countries wherever it gets shipped, it will fail. So they wanted a preventive maintenance by having some sensors in their engine, in their components and everything, and they started measuring that failures with the temperature, with the wattage, with the external temperature and so on. And they made this association rules with decision trees. So predictive maintenance for vehicles is a good problem statement to have. Ashok Leyland is doing, John Deere is doing, Maruti Suzuki is doing vehicle predictive maintenance using prediction algorithm. This is a very, very, very popular project for college students. If you want to build a prediction model, you can go to this link. There is a existing piece of code which is there in Python. You can use it also. Now this should be known to everybody. in your bathroom outlet, you will find a Phenol-X pipe. So this is a very interesting problem statement that I came across. So in big manufacturing like Phenol-X, there will be these trucks which are waiting, Acer trucks, Tata trucks, Ashok Leyland trucks. They will put these pipes like this. Let's say this company is in some North India, and let's say I am ordering pipes from Bangalore, South India. I want 10-inch pipes, 20 of them, 5-inch pipes, 10 of them. Like this, I want different size pipes. Now I make all this in one sales order, and then the truck comes. When I load the truck, I am not able to load all the pipes in one truck. Okay, I call the second truck. There only half the truck or quarter the truck is filled. The remaining space is empty. So this pipe has to be packed in a nice way. How can you pack? You need to pack it like this. Bigger pipe, smaller pipe, smaller pipe, smaller pipe. If you pack it like concentric circles like this, then the packing works very good. If you don't pack it and pack it like normally, then you will not have. So you need to know what pipe should be loaded, what is to be put inside another pipe, how to count it. This is a problem of packing. Now, this is a packing algorithm. Even today, Phenol-X is not having the best solution for this. So how do you take the volume of a truck, length into breadth into height, and pack pipes with the simple pi r square h formula, finding the height of the pipe, finding the radius and diameter of the pipe? How do you do a packing algorithm for pipes? This is a fantastic problem statement for engineering college students. Givaudan is a Switzerland-based company, very popular. Their scent bottles are ranging from the price of $2,000 to $20,000 per bottle. So you can imagine that kind of, they are sold in airports and malls and all of that. Now, let's say you buy a scent bottle for 1 lakh rupees and you bring it and use it, and suddenly you start getting itching on your skin. You will go and sue the company. So the Givaudan company has so many scent fragrances, and they have more than 300 ingredients. So 300 ingredients, if they take each ingredient's reaction to the other, 300 cross 300, that many combinations they have to check. In addition, with respect to temperature, weather, humidity, they have to check how it is. So they gave such a huge data set and said, can you do a big data analytics project for recipe management? What is meant by recipe? Your mother or grandmother would be making a nice recipe for sambar. This much amount of turmeric, this much amount of masala and so on. Recipe management is exactly finding how much of each quantity should be done. So big data analytics on recipe management is a huge problem statement, especially for food industry, for perfume industry. These are very useful to avoid dangers to human mankind. So this is problem statement number 3. This is the most interesting project in my life. We did this for Department of Human Services Australia, and it is very interesting to see how Australian government works. In Australia, there is too much land, very little people. So they have, if you drive for 100 kilometers, probably you will get the first petrol pump. That much space and distance they have. So they develop new towns, new cities. They have so much of space. So what they do, they go and find out some data about how many people are here, what is the common diseases here, how many people die out of diabetes, how many people die out of old age, how many people die out of accident. Like this, they collect all the data. Now, with that data about how many children born, how many people retire, how many people are going from one city to another city and so on, they plan new cities. So here they gave a prediction called predict mortality rates. To be very precise, what it means is predict how many people will die. Very decently, they have put it as mortality rate. Actually, what it means is predict the death. At what year people will die. How many years somebody would live. Now, this prediction algorithm was given with 900 parameters. For example, how many kilometers you drive a car daily, how many children you have, what kind of work you do you work in a software job or a industry with pollution or what it is, has there been some incident in your family. 900 different parameters for every citizen they plan, and they actually predict the death of the citizen to plan the government. So which is very interesting problem statement of Australia. This is called Hamburg Port Authority, HPA. You Google this on YouTube, you will find tons of videos. The unique thing about Hamburg Port is it is not near the seashore. It is a port in Germany. It is in the middle actually. Germany, it's in the middle. It is not near the ocean side. So from a long distance, there are canals that bring the ship to Hamburg Port. So it's an artificial port. It's not a natural port. The space inside the port is very limited. Cranes, trucks, containers, there is not much space. So this is a project which was integrating ships, cranes, container loading, the drivers, the waiting place for the trucks, the movement, how many trucks should come inside, how many should go outside. Everything was done using IoT, digital analysis, then cloud, then devices, vehicle prediction, etc. So multi-project in one, a complete digitalization project for Hamburg Port Authority. Very interesting project. You can see the PDF which is there as a link. This is a well-known company to all of you, very much in Chennai, Hosur, everywhere. They gave a project for their next generation trucks. They wanted to know if a lorry is booked from Chennai to Punjab. Now, earlier we used to book the things and they will say we will come in 5 days, 10 days, we will come in another 2 days and all. We don't know where is the lorry, where it is parked, is he really moving, is he taking a sleep? You don't know, whatever may be. But today they want real-time analytics. Where is the vehicle? Which gear he is driving? Which highway is driving? Is there a high engine heating? What is the, how many hours did the driver drive? Did he take a rest in the last 12 hours? All the KPIs can be monitored from the Ashok Leyland truck through something called OBUs. So this is a project which is integrating automobile OBU, cloud, vehicle analytics and all of that. So this project is also very interesting. Some of the screenshots are here. Blockchain, everybody knows the concept. We used blockchain in Andhra Pradesh real estate business. So how does that work? We have something called joint development. One landowner is there. He does not have money. He goes to a contractor. He says, I'll give you the land. You construct the house and both of us will go to profit. Contractor has no money, no land. So he goes to the customers and say, you give me money, book the flat, I will construct the flat, land is given by landowner. So now there is a contract between landowner, contractor, buyer. Then buyers also don't have money. They make several contracts with several banks, loans, home loan contracts. Now, so every customer has separate banking contracts. So if you really see, there is contract of contracts. Now let's say something happens, one earthquake happens and this building falls down. How many contracts are broken? So or otherwise, let's say this landowner sells this land with another set of documents to another contractor. Then who are all the party to be informed? So all of this was put together by Andhra government in a blockchain. So we put this blockchain so that if you register the land or one of the flat, everybody else is notified. So this is done for multiple stakeholders with the bank, with builder, with the landowner, with insurance company, everybody in Andhra government. Okay, and the last two are the most interesting one in my lifetime. I would want to quiz this to the audience. You will have to unmute yourself. Left hand side, you see Bangalore Metro picture, or for simplicity sake, let's say Chennai Metro. Right hand side, you see Tokyo Metro. Okay, both are metro stations. There is a technical difference in this gate in both the metros. What is it? You have to tell me. Don't say people are there, here no people are there, here people are raising the hand. No, no. As an engineer, some technical difference is there in both the metro gates. What do you see?
Pathway is closed in left hand side.
Okay.
Picture.
So why it is open on the right hand side? Anybody
Yes, sir.
else?
Yes, sir. I hope the ways in the different levels, maybe like even if they switch one, they can get their things checked in the other gateway, I suppose.
Okay. This is a very interesting design problem. Okay. Just see the sequence of activities when you go to a metro station. You take the coin or the card, gate is first closed, you put the card or the coin, gate opens, you move front, you move to the other side, after that gate closes. Is this the sequence that you do in Chennai, Bangalore and all?
No.
No. Then what do you do? When you go to the gate,
Yes, sir,
metro
same
gate
thing
is
happens.
closed only, right? After you put the card only it opens, right?
Yes, sir.
Now in Tokyo Metro, door is always open. Okay. So first day I went, I kept the card. Door is still open. I passed through the gate. Door is still open. Next day I got puzzled. How can always it be open? I was watching this. For everybody it was always open only. So what I did, I went near the gate. I did not put the coin or the card. Try to move forward. Then gate closed. So when you write a design document, you have to write for the 99% user. 99% of the people will have a ticket or a card or a coin which is valid. So the correct design is gate is open. If there is no ticket or no card, close the gate. This is the correct design. So when everybody is having the correct ticket or the coin or the card, you can go through the gate. There is no problem. But unfortunately, how every other part of the world has designed it is gate should close, place the coin, gate should open, then you go through, then gate should close. So this much of activity is not at all required. It's a wrong design. But all over the world, the first design is only implemented and there is a lot of wear and tear, there is a lot of energy, lot of noise, but still we are designing metro gates like left hand side only. So the problem statement here is when you have such a thing, you should have a right design. So right design doesn't mean popular design. For example, the design here has been wrong, but it has become world famous. The right design is actually only there in Japan. Everywhere, New York, India, Germany, everywhere, the design is the closing and the opening of the door only. So this is one interesting one. Then this is a very funny problem statement. Okay. There is a company called Ascent Circuits in Hosur. They make these PCB boards for washing machine, cars, everything, every possible electronics, they make these sheets. Now, some of the PCB boards they supply for ISRO, DRDO, and so on for satellites. So these PCB boards are made out of gold because gold properties are very good when they move to space. So they make the PCB cutting on gold plates. So that machinery, that place itself is like so nice to see. You are checked at the entrance. When you leave the place, you are again checked. Not even 1 gram of gold should be wasted there. Gold comes in big, big bundles of sheets and all that. Now, all PCB boards will not be in same shape. It will be in rectangle, square, ellipse, some shapes and all will be there. So let's say you have to cut the sheet for certain number of PCB boards. The cutting algorithm should be that perfect. For example, if I would have 5 feet by 6 feet sheet, and I am supposed to cut small PCB boards of 30 centimeters by 20 centimeters, and I have to cut this on the sheet with least wastage. I need the cutting algorithm to be fed to the CAD CAM machine. How to get the minimum waste out of this? Now, this is a very big problem statement. It is okay for iron or aluminum, you can have some wastage. But in gold, even 1 gram wastage, it's a very, very big amount. So this problem statement is even there today. If somebody wants to attempt this, this is an excellent problem statement to have. So why are these problem statement given? One on blockchain, one on cloud, one on this thing. Why are all this given? If you really look at it, to solve this, we need different kind of people. We need a UI engineer, you need a database engineer, you need a front-end developer, you need a back-end developer. There are multiple skills required. So nowadays we are looking at full stack developer. We need somebody who knows all of this. It is not enough that somebody knows one programming language. People should know a broad-based understanding of AWS well architected. We have a lot of roles based on this. New roles are coming. So this is a latest trend. All these are latest trends. Maybe it is of use to you. So I felt like sharing this to you. With this, I bring to the end of this session. I have already shared my coordinates with the number of you. And if you are interested, I will put it again on the screen. These are my coordinates. You can connect me on LinkedIn. My name is there and my LinkedIn link is also there. Always there to share some industry experiences, and very, very glad to meet all of you professors in this session. Thank you so much.
Good evening to all. Everyone, please switch on your camera and take the photo session.
Ma'am, camera is disabled, ma'am. Only enable the camera.
Not enabled now.
Yes.
You can, you have the rights, ma'am. Click on the
Any quick words from anybody? Would anybody have any feedbacks? Anything that you would like to give a comment? Please unmute yourself and
Ma'am, your mic is muted, ma'am.
I would like to thank our esteemed speaker, KRISHNAKUMAR Mahalingam, and who spent his valuable time with us on this Saturday evening. This is very hard to him, but I request him to speak very useful information to the faculty that is helpful for a student to all over India. We are connected so that he shares some industry experience with us. So, your contribution have been instrumental in broadening our understanding and helping us explore the many ways digital technologies and interactive learning environment. Thank you, Krishna Kumar. Everyone should fill your feedback form and then you can join the session 13 today. Krishna Kumar, you have the feedback. Wonderful session with real-time examples.
Thank you. Can I drop now or furthermore?
Okay, okay, thank you. You have.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, participants, for your wonderful time. And also, it is a very hectic for us. And on this evening, we have today we have 3 sessions because this is only by the Atal schedule we can plan this. So we cannot decide to put 3 sessions. So I understand your situation, but we have to bear this. Okay.